Welcome to Covered. CTV and Rebuild Christchurch have teamed up to take a behind-the-scenes look at the residential rebuild program in Canterbury. Now today we'll be talking multi-unit buildings and shared properties, it's all very complicated, and how are EQC and the insurers dealing with settling insurance claims when multiple homeowners are involved. Later on in the program, we'll also take a look at an innovative solution when looking at foundations and piles that are hard to get to. MUDs or shared properties, who knows? When multiple owners and units are involved, it doesn't matter what they're called, it's just plain complicated. Now, Barry Searle of the Earthquake Commission gives us some insight into the complexities.
Since September 2010, EQC have received in excess of 420,000 claims for damage to dwellings. Around 21,000 of these relate to multi-unit buildings such as these. Whilst most of these have been settled, some of the more complex ones are yet to be worked through. In this segment, I want to take you through some of the challenges we've faced in repair to multi-unit buildings. It's also an opportunity to share some of the lessons we've learned with other New Zealanders living in multi-unit buildings. Just so we're clear, when we talk about multi-unit buildings, we're talking about semi-detached and terraced townhouses, units, apartments, retirement villages, and mixed-use buildings. They are all characterised by being connected by a shared wall, foundation, floor, roof, or garage. Dealing with these properties has been difficult from the outset, as there has been limited information about which insured properties form part of a multi-unit building. Multi-unit buildings are usually larger and more complex than standalone properties. They can involve multiple owners, multiple insurers, and damage to shared structural elements within the building. Combined with a situation where some neighbours couldn't agree on the best repair strategy, or they didn't have a functional body corporate secretary that would represent them, it has taken us longer than we would have liked to have settled these properties. But we're close to finishing. Out of 21,000 claims that we've been working through, we've settled over 3/4 of them.
Over the last 2 years, my team has assessed thousands of dwellings. From that, we have found a small group of approximately 70 property sites that have a mixture of under and over cap properties that have dependent repairs. We're dealing with multi-insurers as well, and some of these sites don't even have insurance. It really adds to the complexity of determining a repair strategy for the site, as we can't just look at them as individual units. And what we've found in the past is if we've assessed them as individual units, the repairs could be quite minor, but when taking the whole building approach, the repair actually can dramatically change. With adjoining walls like this one, when we find that it's damaged, it also affects the neighbouring unit as well. And then what complicates things more is if that neighbouring unit is still under cap. So this house may have settled and be over cap, but the neighbouring unit has not. So what happens if the firewall's also settled? It's going to be replaced. So therefore the two units can't be repaired in isolation. What we've done is we've talking to insurance companies to have these repaired together. Most people, when they think about MUBs, will think about body corporate properties and cross-lease properties. This MUB is a little bit different as it's a mixed usage MUB. So it has a mixture of both commercial and residential componentry in there. So what the team has to do is determine what that percentage is. If it is over 50% residential, then we'll actually insure the whole building up to the EQC cap. So what the team would have to do is measure up all the rooms of the commercial area and then measure up all the rooms of the residential area to determine exactly what the percentage is. So the team at the moment are just having a look at all elements of the room to determine exactly what's happening, what the earthquake damage is. One of the things the mud clay manager does is talk to the customer, let them know the process. It's very important, we believe, that the customer is aware of what's happening, the complexities behind it, the repair strategies, and also avenues of support available to them. So we've had communications with RAS and earthquake support about the program, and so we feed this information also to the customers that there is some independent advice for them if required.
EQC and the insurers believe that the most effective method of carrying out the repairs to these properties is for a lead PMO to carry out the repair to the entire project, including the undercap and overcap properties. Since 2010, EQC have learnt many valuable lessons about the repair to multi-unit buildings, particularly when it involves structural damage to the entire building. To speed up repairs, if or when the time comes, the best thing you can do if you live in a complex that has been damaged is to talk to your neighbours about the proposed repairs. If there is consensus on how the repairs to be approached, it makes the settlement that much easier and means the repairs can happen quicker. So be prepared, check your title and be aware of your obligations as an owner. If your property is owned under a unit title structure, ensure it has a functioning body corporate and that the body corporate secretary has fulfilled its functions by taking out a single insurance policy across the entire complex. Then in the event of a natural disaster claim, one claim can be lodged for the entire complex. If the ownership is cross-lease or some other arrangement without a body corporate secretary, consider talking to neighbours about taking a single insurance policy across the entire building. So by doing this now rather than later, may save a lot of anguish in the event of a future natural disaster.
Join me after the break to find out how EQC and insurers are collaborating to deal with multi-unit buildings and shared properties.